Okay guys, no, sa warrantless searches and seizures na po tayo. So ito ang tip ko sa inyo sa consented searches. Tandaan nyo sa bar exam, ang mindset nyo dapat, walang consent. Okay? Tandaan nyo when in doubt. No? Tip lang natin, hindi nyo pag ialagay ito sa exam nyo, no? Pero para lang sa atin, no, tip ko lang sa inyo. Kapag meron sinabi yung police, no, o yung prosecution sa tanong sa bar na the person search consented to the same, something like that, no? So the evidences shall be admissible. Something like that yung contention nung prosecution. Ang sagot nyo dapat dyan, ang isip nyo dapat, leaning dapat tayo towards no consent. Why? Tingnan po natin yung itong the totality of the circumstances, no? To determine if there was consent in the search that was conducted by the police officers, no? So to determine if there is consent, the totality of the circumstances must be determined, such as the age of the defendant, whether the defendant was in a public or secluded location, whether the defendant objected to the search or passively looked on, the education and intelligence of the defendant, and the presence of intimidating or coercive police procedures and others. Ano po ang kailangan nating tingnan dito? O ano yung lagi na natatanong sa bar? Ano yung laging lumalabas sa kaso? Which makes, which leads to the result na wala pong naging consent. Ano yung laging tinitingnan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dito? Para malaman natin kung meron o walang consent. Tandaan niyo po ito pinaka-important dyan, yung number 3 at saka yung number 5. Why? Sabihin natin, tinanong, hahalugugin ko po yung gamit nyo. O yan ang tanong. Yung kausap, yung mahalugugan ng gamit, tumingin lang. Hindi mo nahingi yung yes or no. No? Express yes or no dun sa tao. That's an instance of no consent. Okay, so yung magiging search later on, hindi po siya consented search. Or, no? Actually, minsan nga end kasi combination. Nag-passively look on yung person searched, tapos there was intimidating or coercive police procedure nung nangyari yan. Bakit? Aba, syempre, pag sa gabi, kakapkapan ka ng police or whatever, di ba? It's a coercive. It's an intimidating environment. Di ba? Making, no? Or ang result nun, walang consent. Tandaan niyo yun, ha? So, sa exam niyo lagi, ang isip niyo, no, napaka-seldom, no, na magkakaroon po ng actual consent. Okay? Most probably, kung lalabas mo to sa exam niyo, walang consent. Okay? Kasi unang-una, pagkakapkapan ka ng police, that is coercive. That is intimidating already. Kasi imagine, nilapitan ka ng police, hahanapan ka. Di ba? That's already coercive, no? Anyway, may mga exceptions, di pala exceptions. May mga iba pa tayong mga warrantless searches, no? No? Ang hindi ko na idagdag dito, may mga instances kung saan ang right to privacy ng tao ay limited, no? So, i-edit natin, no? Yung isa nga, natakil natin previously, kapag nasa kulungan tayo, no? Pag nakakulong, whether detainee, or convicted prisoner na, meron po tayong limited right to privacy. That's why, kahit walang search warrant, pwede pong inspeksyonin yung alam niyo na yung jail cell. O pwedeng tingnan yung mga alam niyo na yung mga packages na ibinibigay sa preso, pwedeng tingnan kahit walang search warrant. Okay. May isa pa akong hindi na ilagay dito na nasa bar Q&A natin sa political law. Babanggitin ko na lang sa inyo, no. I suggest kailangan talaga gamitin natin sila hand in hand. Nakalagay po diyan, no, sa bar Q&A natin, ang mga taong nasa bus, no, ang mga passengers in saan ba? Public transportation na bus, no? They can be searched. Diba? Their belongings can be searched, no? Even without a search warrant. So ano scenario doon? Pwede pong pumasok yung police doon sa bus, tapos tingnan yung mga bayong, yung mga bag nung mga nakasakay. That is allowed. Okay? Why? Kasi para lang daw ano yan, parang ibang public transportation, ibang modes of transportation. Like halimbawa, sasakay tayo ng barko, di ba kailangan inspeksyonin ng gamit natin? Pagkasakay tayo ng eroplano, kailangan inspeksyonin natin yung gamit, no? So, same thing po sa bus. Kaya, ngayon sa jeep, huwag niyo akong tanungin kasi wala pa naman tayong parang yung bar Q&A na yun, hinango lang po sa kaso about buses. Okay? Tanungin niyo ako about taxi, about ride-hailing apps. Wala pa akong sagot sa inyo. Okay? Pero tandaan niyo to, bus, barko, at saka airplane. Meron din pong basically limited right to privacy. Yun ang hindi ko na idagdag dito sa reviewer natin. Nasa bar Q&A naman po. Tandaan niyo yan, pwede pong i-check ang bag ng mga sumasakay na pasahero sa bus kahit walang search warrant. Kahit walang consent. Pinasok ko na ngayon para hindi ko na siya makalimutan later on, no? Kasi mas mahirap yung mga next topics natin. Ulitin ko, tandaan nyo lang, for the purposes of the bar, leaning tayo towards no consent. Why? Because of two. Dito sa limang totality of the circumstances na to, dalawa ang pinaka-important. Did he object or did he passively look on? Pag passively look on, tandaan nyo, pwedeng no consent yan. Why? Kasi consent must be given expressly, lalo na sa search na ganyan. Okay, same way, intimidating coercive environment, no, during the search, pwedeng walang consent. Okay? Meron pa iba mga anecdotes dito na nilagay na may iba pang mga principles, no? The police officer must communicate this clearly and in a language known to the person who is about to waive his constitutional rights. No, there must be an assurance given to the police officer that the accused fully understands his or her rights. It is not sufficient that the police officer introduce himself or be known as a police officer. Ito yung mga nilagay po sa kaso, no. Pero para lang naman sa akin, no, do not overcomplicate. Do not overcomplicate. Nilagay ko lang to kasi syempre helpful siyang doctrine. Para sa akin, gamitin nyo to, guys. Yung factors na yan. Ang isa ka pang sinabi ay tuto ko, nabanggit ko na to before sa iba natin mga subjects. Tandaan nyo, kapag merong elements, kapag merong conditions, may requirements, may requisites, like this case, no, may totality of the circumstances, dapat ito lagi gamitin nyo kasi ang daling sagutin. No, ang isang question naman kasi, maraming paraan para magkaroon ka ng full points dyan eh. Marami, lalo na pag freestyle, yung discuss. Give your legal advice. Pag mga ganyan yung dialogue sa question nyo, binibigyan kayo ng freedom to basically explore, no? Freedom to argue your points. If that is the case, syempre pipili ka kung saan ka pinakamadadalian na sagot. Like pag ito nilagay mo, how can you memorize this? It's one whole paragraph, it's hard to memorize kasi lengthy siya. On the other hand, kapag ito sinasabi ko, kapag requisites lagi, kapag naka-number format like this one, mas madali siyang intindihin, mas madali siyang i-memorize. Age, public or secluded location. Ito, age, public or secluded location, objected to the search or possibly looked into, no? Ano pa yung kulang ko dito? Yung presence of intimidating or coercive. Nakapikit ako, no? Police procedures. Isa ako nakalimutan, education and intelligence of the defendant. Di ba? So basically, 4 out of 5 naalala ko na. Di ba? Kasi nga mas maganda kapag enumeration style na ganyan. Tapos, ang dali lang, ipo-point out mo lang doon. There was no consent in this case because the environment was intimidating and express consent was not obtained from the person search. So, the warrantless search should be deemed invalid, making the evidence is inadmissible. Something like that. Ayan, no, in the case of Viridiano versus People, mere passive conformity or silence is not a consent at all. It is only an implied acquiescence. That's not what the case requires from the police. Kailangan merong, yan, ito nga, ano, clearly and in a language known to the person and so on and so forth. Okay? At dapat wala talagang intimidating or coercive environment. Another underline. Okay, anyway. Ayan. In the bar, lean towards no consent. Since there is usually a presence of intimidating or coercive environment brought about by the police when there is a warrantless search. Okay, tapos na tayo sa madali, no? Punta tayo sa mas mahirap. Tandaan nyo itong apat na to magkakapatid, no? Search incidental to a lawful arrest. Actually, hindi pala apat, tatlo lang. Ay, tama, apat. Tama nga ba, apat? Yes, apat, no? Magkakapatid to, no? Search incidental to a lawful arrest? Well, gawin natin wag palang magkakapatid lahat. Tandaan nyo ang magkakapatid dito. Tandaan nyo to stop and frisk, visual search at checkpoints, at saka extensive search of a moving vehicle. Magkakapatid yung tatlo na yan. Ang pinsan nila, yung search incidental to a lawful arrest. Bakit ko sinabing pinsan lang itong isa? Tandaan nyo, iba kasi yung procedure. Pag sinabi mong search incidental to a lawful arrest, maganda pag mga ganun na discussion, no? Pinapasimple may pinsan at kapatid. Okay. Kapag search incidental to a lawful arrest, tandaan nyo, nauna pong arestuhin yung tao. So pag sinabi nating naunang arestuhin yung tao, dapat tingnan nyo muna kung merong warrant of arrest or merong in flagrante, merong hot pursuit, merong escapee, and so on and so forth. Yun dapat yung nasa isip nyo. Sabihin natin, the question is, the prosecution argues that there was a valid search incidental to a lawful arrest. Kapag ganun ang contention, ang una nyo titingnan dun sa question, sa bar question, eto bang pulis na to? Bago niya hanapan ng gamit yung inarestong tao niya, mayroon bang kinukomit na crime yung tao na yon? Mayroon bang in flagrante delicto arrest? So in his presence, mayroon bang crime? May hot pursuit ba? May probable cause ba? Di ba? Hot pursuit yun, no? Meron bang warrant of arrest? Escapee ba yan? Kapag wala po sa lahat na yon, that means the search incidental to a lawful arrest, yung contention ng prosecutor, it deserves no merit at all. Kasi there was no valid arrest in the first place. Kasi wala po siya dun sa mga usual warrantless arrest na valid at saka wala pong warrant of arrest. Making the search incident to this arrest also unlawful. O, doon naman tayo sa mga magkakapatid, no? Di ba pinsan nga lang itong search incidental to a lawful arrest. Sa stop and frisk, extensive search of a moving vehicle at saka visual search at checkpoints, lahat po sila search ang nauna. And then pag nakakita ng kontrabando, nakakita ng effects of an offense, instruments of an offense, at saka po magkakaroon ng crime. No? Magkakaroon ng aresto. So sa search incidental to a lawful arrest, the first thing that you have to check is, was there a valid arrest? Once there is a valid arrest, let's check if there is a valid search. On the other hand, doon sa tatlong magkakapatid, no, yung triplets, una yung titingnan, was there a valid search? Search ang una dyan. Pag nakita nyo na yung search, pag nakita nyo ng nauna yung search, tingnan nyo next thing is if there was a valid arrest. Normally naman po, pag stop and frisk, extensive search of a moving vehicle at saka visual search at checkpoints, nagkakamali po agad yan sa una pa lang, sa search. Okay? Bakit ka nag-stop and frisk? Wala ka naman genuine reason. Bakit ka nag-extensive search? Visual search at checkpoints lang naman ang ginawa. Dapat visual search lang dahil nasa checkpoint lang. No? O plansita lang naman yan, ba't biglang pinabuksan yung console box? You get the point. Pag sa extensive search of a moving vehicle, kailangan din ng probable cause dyan that the persons in the vehicle were committing a crime or possessing effects or instruments of an offense. O, may probable cause dapat. So basically, ang nauna po sa tatlo na yan, search. Okay? Hanapin natin. Kung hindi valid yun, malamang hindi rin valid yung arrest. So nakita niyo po kaya po in this case, no, Vaporoso versus People, a valid arrest, in search incidental to a lawful arrest, a valid arrest must precede the search. And this process cannot be reversed. If we reverse this, dun tayo sa triplets pupunta. Hindi po applicable ang search incidental to a lawful arrest. Of course, depende yan sa contention ng prosecution. O sabihin natin, alam nyo kasi minsan nakakagulo to, no? Talagang magmi-mix and match lang. Talagang mako-confuse kayo sa dapat nyong i-apply na principle, no? For this one, no? Kasi ako nahirapan din. Kaya tayo mahihirapan dyan. Kasi nga, like in the case of People versus Cogaed, dito po sa kaso na to, in-apply lahat yan. Nag-search incidental, nag-consent, if I remember correctly, nagkaroon ng extensive search of moving vehicle, in-apply lahat. No, basically in approach on all angles search yung evidence sa seized, kung admissible o inadmissible siya. Taking into account multiple instances of warrantless searches, pwede mo pumasok dito. Kung hindi search incidental to lawful arrest, pwede mo pumasok dito. Ganun po yung nangyari sa kaso na yan. So, ang suggestion ko sa inyo, always check what was the contention or what are the contentions of the parties. Okay, tingnan nyo kung ano yung nakasulat doon sa bar question. That will dictate what principle, what requisites, what doctrines will you use. O sabihin natin, no? Ang sinabi ng prosecution, it argued, or sinabi ng accused, there was an invalid search incidental to lawful arrest. Focus ka dito sa principles under this topic. O pag tinakil naman, there was a valid stop and frisk search. O yan ang topic. Focus ka dun. Ang suggestion ko, ganun kasi tandaan nyo, ulitin ko, sa bar exam, pag nagkaroon ng warrantless searches, kaya nga sinabi ko magpinsan at saka magkakapatid eh. Kahit ano dyan, pwedeng iba to sa inyo. Pwedeng iba to sa inyo. No? One set of facts. Same set of facts, pwede kayong approachin, search incidental to all lawful arrest. Pwede kayong approachin na stop and frisk, visual search at checkpoints, and so on and so forth. Depende sa contention. Depende sa argument, depende sa question sa inyo kung ano yung principle na i-apply nyo. Tandaan nyo hindi po siya walang hard and fast rule kung paano kayong tatanungin. Kaya nga sinasabi ko ulit-ulit, ang Bill of Rights po, analysis. Analysis and spotting the issue. No? Of course, ma-spot mo issue ng isang topic kung alam mo yung principles in the first place. Kasi ganyan yan eh. No, attorney, sabi sa akin lagi, attorney, paano mo ba akong tutulungan para ma-spot ko lagi yung issue sa bar question? My friend, I cannot help you. Okay? I cannot help you. Wait, di kompleto yung sentence ko. I cannot help you if you do not know the principles in the first place. Kasi the prerequisite for you to spot the issue is you know the principles. If you know the principles, now I can help you spot the issues. Okay? So basically, pag binanggit ko dapat yung search incidental to lawful arrest sa inyo, alam nyo lahat ng principles for this topic. Same thing for stop and frisk and so on. Okay, with that being said, let's go to search incidental to a lawful arrest. So how does this happen? Arrest muna, tapos magkakaroon ng search incident to this. Anyway, itatakil natin extensively later on yung mga instances of lawful arrest, no? So may warrant of arrest, dapat valid yung warrant of arrest, di ba? Hindi pwedeng mali-mali ang form, di ba? Otherwise, invalid yung arrest. Or, merong valid warrantless arrest, no? Like flagrante, hot pursuit, may requests din yan. We will also tackle these things later on. Okay, anyway, sa search aspect muna tayo, no? As provided under Section 13, Rule 126. A person lawfully arrested, no? Amin na. Excuse me. A person lawfully arrested, ayan na, lawfully arrested, may be searched. Actually, well, mas maganda masabi nyo lahat to, no? Pero hindi actually yan. Ang important lang talaga dyan, no? Ito lang. Yan. Not even for dangerous weapons or not even for dangerous weapons, eh. Nakalagay nga po dito anything. Yan. So let's make it simpler for you guys. A person lawfully arrested may be searched of anything, okay, which may have been used or constitute as proof of the commission of an offense without a search warrant. Naalala ko agad. Di ba? Like, isipin mo na memorize ko agad, no? Binasa ko lang siya ng ganito. How was I able to do that? No? Like, lumingon lang ako dito, nasabi ko na sa inyo, essentially, buong provision, just excluding yung salitang for dangerous weapons. Sabi ko yun kasi I understood what the provision is saying. Ibig lang po sabihin yan, itong tao na dapat na lawfully arrest, pwede siyang hanapan, may be searched for dangerous weapons or kahit ano. Actually, ang important nga yung kahit ano, kasi kahit ano talaga. Even if hindi dangerous weapon yan, even if marijuana yan, even if shabu yan, that's not a dangerous weapon, but it can be searched. He can be searched of anything which may be used or constitute as proof, no? Or in the commission of an offense without a search warrant. Okay. Ano pa yung mga important na topics dito na tackle natin to? Extent of the search. Tandaan nyo yan ha. Sa lahat po ng mga principles natin na to, dalawa ang kailangan yung maalala lagi. How can there be a valid search? No? How can there be a valid warrantless search? That's the first thing. Like in this case, no, Section 13, Rule 126 ang nagsabi. At aside from that, ang kailangan nating tingnan, what is the extent of the search? Ulitin ko, dalawa ang kailangan yung malaman sa warrantless searches. How can this be valid in the first place? And in the second place, what is the extent of the search? No? So for Section 13, Rule 126, the search may be made only within the permissible area of search or the place within the immediate control of the person being arrested. So para sa akin, ito tatandaan yung words. Place within the immediate control or area within the immediate control. Yung kasi within the permissible area of search, that's, for me, it's vague. Pero ang precise po ng salitang, ng phrase na area or place within the immediate control in Tagalog, yung kaya lang kontrolin nung hinuli natin, yun lang yung pwedeng i-search mo. Yung kaya niyang kontrolin. Attorney, pwede ba sa bulsa niya? Yes. Pwede ba sa brief niya? Yes. Pwede ba sa medyas niya? Yes. Because these things are within his immediate control. Attorney, paano pag nasa isang kwarto kami? Para di na mahirap sa CR namin nahuli. Pwede bang tingnan yung loob nung baka isinot yung shabu dun sa loob nung bowl, no? Doon sa flashan. Di ba yung nalagyan ng tubig doon, no? Yung, no? Siyempre, hindi doon sa ano na, hindi sa lumubog na, di ba? Pag na-flash na yan, how can you do that? Di ba? You cannot search that. Pero doon sa taas, no, yung tinatanggal yung ano, you get the point, no? Hindi kasi ako magaling sa CR. Yung tinatanggal yung ulong gano'n nung toilet, tapos yung may tubig doon. Attorney, pwede ko bang i-search yun? Nasa CR namin nahuli. The answer is yes. Okay. Attorney, what if dun sa ano, sa, ano pa ba? Marumihan, no? Iba, may marumihan sa CR. Baka isinot dun yung shabu nung inipit doon sa marumi na damit. Yes, pwede din. Okay? Medyo may kalakihan yung CR, ibinato sa bathtub. Pwede ko bang i-search yung bathtub? Yes. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan. May cabinet, yung CR, no? Nandun yung cabinet ng mga gamot, ng mga first aid kit, tuwalya, bathrobe, and so on. Pwede bang i-search yun? Yes. Pero paano yung sabihin natin yung wardrobe? No? Malaking bahay to. May CR, may wardrobe. Sabihin natin, separate room sila. Attorney, yung bang mga police pwede pa pumunta sa wardrobe to search? The answer is no. Because that area is not within the immediate control of the person arrested. Tandaan nyo hindi ko sinabing person searched. Ang dialogue, a search incidental to a lawful arrest. We cannot search this place because this is not within the area of the person arrested. Ayan no, of the person being arrested. Kasi aresto nga unahin natin. Nahuli ka namin kasi may warrant of arrest ka. O by the way, trivia lang, no? Ay, di pala trivia. Tanong lang sa inyo, baka akala nyo hindi pwede. Pag may warrant of arrest ka ba, pwede mo bang pasukin yung bahay? Halugugin mo yung bahay, pwede. The answer is yes. Under the rules of court, we have the police officers, di pala ka police, no? The police officers can break open the house to execute the warrant of arrest as provided under Rule 113. How to execute a valid arrest? Pwedeng mag-break open. So, ibig sabihin, pwede ka maghalughog talaga sa bahay. Okay lang naman ang point ko, no? Anyway, tandaan nyo within the area of the immediate control, of course, I cannot dictate, I cannot predict ano yung magiging itsura nung facts sa bar exam. But para lang sa akin, you need to use your analytical skills, your common sense. Ito bang pinaghanapan na to within this area of immediate control pa? Okay? You get the point. No, you get the point, no? Attorney, paano kung sa mataas na kondo nakatira? Nung nahuli na siya, binato dun sa balcony, nalaglag sa sahig. Paano naman yun? Siyempre, di ba? Kung, paano ba? Hindi na niya so mo isa-search yung sabihin natin, di ba, nahulihan natin, no? Ibinato yung shabu dun sa balcony, bumagsak sa ground floor, di ba? Sa taas na building. Of course, wala na. Di ba? How can you search downstairs? That's not within the area of the immediate control of the person being arrested already. And who knows saan bumagsak na area sa baba yun, di ba? Kasi baka nilipad na, di ba? Sumabit saan, so hindi naman talaga napunta sa ground. We don't know. Okay? So we need to stick to reality. Di ba? Basta tandaan nyo, within the area of immediate control. So sa condo, tingnan nyo lang kung malaki may condo, maliit. No? You get the point. No? Hindi ko na kailangan pahirapan pa. Okay? Next. How do we determine if there is a lawful arrest? So we check if there is a warrant of arrest, valid warrant of arrest. May valid sa nila, a valid in flagrante delicto arrest, or a valid hot pursuit arrest. If none is present, no, the search incidental to the arrest is invalid because the arrest was unlawful. You get the point. Okay. So what if the search happens before the arrest was made? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, magpisan lang yan, hindi sila magkapatid. No? What if the search happens first before the arrest was made? So the sagot is, the rule on search incidental to lawful arrest will not apply. We need to check the other instances of warrantless searches para makita natin kung valid ba o invalid yung pangyayari. Hindi po ito maging applicable. Tandaan nyo, dito napakadami ng binato sa atin over the years ng mga valid instances of warrantless searches. Diba? Mayroon pang aerial target zone, may aerial whatever pa. Okay, mayroon pang airport, mayroon pang customs. Madaming binato sa atin, no? May plain view, doctrine. So it's up to us, no, as bar takers, as bar examinees, to use the proper to cancel out yung mga hindi applicable and to apply the applicable principles. No? Applicable principles. Ang suggestion ko sa inyo is mode of cancellation before you select the principle that you will use for the bar question, no? Cancel nyo muna, no? Parang multiple choice, A, B, C, D ang choices nyo. Tanggalin nyo muna yung for sure hindi sagot. Mode of cancellation, cancel ko yung B at saka C muna. O A at saka dinali pamimilian ko. Whether visual search or extensive visual search at checkpoints or extensive search of a moving vehicle na lang pala sa searchan ko. Ganun ang style. Okay, ganun ang style ah. Sige. You get the point. The phrase within the area of his immediate control means the area from which he might gain possession of a weapon or destructible evidence. You get the point. Okay. Such warrantless search obviously cannot be made in a place other than the place of the arrest. So, okay na yan. In Espano versus Court of Appeals, ito nilagyan ko na example, no? Where the accused was outside the apartment unit and in the act of delivering to the posture buyer. So, yung undercover police, no? The bag of shabu. Anyway. Ito, ganito lang sa Espano, no? Basta nasa labas siya nung unit niya nung nagkabigayan ng pera sa kanong shabu. Hindi ka pwedeng pumasok sa loob ng bahay. No? Kasi hindi na yung area of his immediate control. Nasa labas nga ng unit eh. Di ba? The inside of the apartment unit was no longer permissible. It's no longer a permissible area of search. So you get the point. Okay. Now let's go to the triplets, no? Stop and frisk sa extensive search of a moving vehicle at saka uh, visual search at checkpoints. So, ito, tandaan nyo rin, no? Para lang sa akin, para ulitin ko, dito po, depende talaga sa tanong sa inyo. Kasi tandaan nyo, sabihin natin, nakasakay sa motor, tapos nakahinto sa stoplight, no? Tapos sinerch ng police yung rider. Sabihin natin, no, naka-stoplight, syempre sinerch nyo yung rider. Tingnan natin, no, kung ano yung argument doon sa question nung police. Kung paano siya naging valid o invalid search. No? Sabihin natin, ang tanong doon is stop and frisk, sabi. Kasi pwede mo sabihin stop and frisk eh. Di ba kasi nga stagnant yung hindi naman siya yung gumagalaw na sasakyan, di ba? Stop light nga eh. Nakahinto. Pwedeng ini-stop and frisk, we don't know. Di ba? Or pwede mo rin sabihin, extensive search of a moving vehicle, that's my point. Kasi at the same time, moving na rin yan later on kapag nag-green light. Di ba? O malamang visual search at checkpoints, wala. Kasi nga nasa stoplight tayo, eh. Hindi ko naman sinabing checkpoint. O di ba, ABCD, yung pinsan, kinancel out na natin, no? Sabihin natin, search ang unang gagawin. I-cancel out na rin natin yung visual search at checkpoint kasi nga walang checkpoint. So may dalawa kang pamimilian, stop and frisk at saka extensive search of a moving vehicle. Tingnan natin yung facts. Baka binanggit sa facts na dapat ang i-apply mo stop and frisk. So you need to apply that accordingly. Or baka yung other principle. Okay, attorney, paano pag wala sinabi facts? Now, it will be up to you. What principle will you apply? What warrantless search will you apply? Ikaw ang bahala. So, ano suggestion ko, attorney, paano pag gano'n ang ginawa, no? Gitna ng gabi, syempre, masunurin yung rider, no? Kahit na gabi na, wala ng kotse, wala ng motor. Nung nag-red light po yung stoplight, huminto siya. Tapos, sinerch siya nung police. For some reason, ano po ang applicable na kailangan natin gamitin dyan na principle? Para sa akin, sa extensive search of a moving vehicle tayo. Kasi ako sa isip ko, no, sa isip ko, pag sinabi kong stop and frisk, normally ang context niya, naglalakad, nakatambay, di ba? Naglalakad sa convenience store, papasok sa convenience store, palabas sa convenience store. Nasa gasoline station. Di pa nagpapagat kasi nakasaka yun eh. Nasa gasoline station, no? Kasi nga may convenience store sa gasoline station. Ganun ang galawan. Naglalakad pa uwi. Yan yung context ng stop and frisk. So pag nakasakay po siya sa vehicle, whether kotse or motor, ang nasa mindset ko dapat dyan, either visual search at checkpoint dyan or extensive search of a moving vehicle. Attorney, walang checkpoint. They have, di ba? That choice has been made. Extensive search of a moving vehicle lang i-apply nating principle. No? So, hindi po yung stop and frisk, hindi yung visual search at checkpoint. So, you get the point. Unless, binanggit talaga sa question na, ito i-apply natin. Kapag sinabi yun, now you are limited now. So, the choice has been made for you. You do not make the choice kung ano yung principle na gagamitin mo. Anyway, in the case of Malacat versus Court of Appeals, no? How can there be a valid stop and frisk search when there is a genuine reason in light of the experience of the police officer and the surrounding circumstances to warrant a belief that the person detained is committing a crime? A mere suspicion or hunch will not invalidate a stop and frisk. Ngayon, attorney, ito, napaka-subjective po nung principle. Siyempre, what is genuine reason? Di ba? We need to check that every time. Paano nagkaroon ng genuine reason dito? No? So, pwede mong i-argue sa wala, pwede mong i-argue sa meron. May mga pagkakataong ganyan. Di ba? May mga pagkakataong ganyan na pwedeng yes, pwedeng pula, pwedeng puti. Okay? So, attorney, paano ba namin i-measure ito? Yan ang gusto ko kasi, no? Talagang minsan po ang batas din natin ma-avoid. Talagang, like halimbawa, sa criminal law, reasonable necessity of the means employed to repel or prevent it sa self-defense yan, di ba? What is a reasonable necessity? Di ba? Wala naman pong hard and fast rule. Walang strict rule for that to determine if reasonable pa ba o hindi yung repelling move na ginawa nung accused. Di ba? So it will depend upon our arguments na as lawyers, no? Anyway, pag tinanong kayo sa bar question ng judge, it will depend upon your assessment as a judge na. Di ba? If you were the judge, sabi gano'n. It depends upon you. Yun nga lang po talaga mahirap kasi nga subjective siya. Di ba? Minsan, pag tinignan ni Juan yan, baka sa kanya, yes. Pag tinignan naman ni Pedro, no. Okay? Ang ganda po dito, in the case of ito, in the matter of petition for writ of amparo of Vivian A. Sanchez, nilagyan po ng Supreme Court ng parang, ano ba? Anong tawag dito? Precise way of determining if there was genuine reason. Inilagay. So that's good. Ito how can we determine if there was a genuine reason to warrant a belief that the person detained is committing a crime? Actually, wag detained. Mali ito. Person to be searched. But to detain. Person to be searched. Ito po. The arresting officer should have personally observed at least two or more suspicious circumstances. And then, a reasonable pinigilan, a reasonable inference must be deduced from the totality of circumstances. So what does that mean? There must be two or more suspicious circumstances. When we take them together, it shows that there was genuine reason on the part of the police officer, in light of his experience and the surrounding circumstances, that the person to be searched was committing a crime. Okay? So basically, yun, at least two suspicious circumstances, i-take natin together kung nagkaroon ba ng genuine reason o wala. Ngayon, mas mayroon ng precision. Of course, gagamitin mo pa rin yung common sense mo, analytical skills mo. Where are the suspicious circumstances or what are the suspicious circumstances as shown in the bar question? Nakadalawa ba o hindi? Kung isa lang, automatic, walang genuine reason. So, invalid yung stop and frisk. Di ba? Paano kung dalawa? But if we take them together, hindi naman nagkaroon ng genuine reason. It's independent. No, we cannot take them together. Wala din. Bigyan ko kayo ng example na lang ng ano no ng paraan para magkaroon ng o ng example para magkaroon ng genuine reason. Sabihin natin ano ba? Ayun, sabihin natin na nagkasalubong yung pulis at saka yung tao. Yung tao amoy marijuana. Nung tiningnan siya ng pulis, mapula ang mata. Ilan na yung suspicious circumstances natin? Dalawa na. Amoy marijuana kasi pag sinabi mo suspicious circumstance, hindi naman siya limited sa eyesight. Di ba? Covered senses ng police. Yung mga senses niya. Oh, pasok. Smell. Aba, hindi magandang amoy yan. Marijuana, di ba? Drugs. Tapos magpula mata. That's one of the effects of, di ba, smoking marijuana. Namumula mata. O de combo. If you take them together, it warrants a belief that this person has just committed a crime. What's the crime? Use of dangerous drugs. So we need to search him. Okay? So saan po papasok dito to sa genuine reason? In light of the police officer's experience. Kasi may experience si police na ano amoy ng marijuana at ano itsura ng taong high sa marijuana. That's his experience. Those were the suspicious circumstances. When we take them together, may genuine reason. Making the stop and frisk valid. Ganon. O attorney, paano kung gabi lang? Tapos binigyan kasi ng tip na itong lalaki na to na may bigote, na maliit, na maitim, na naka-uniform na puti, and so on and so forth. Ito daw ay pusher. May dala-dalang shabu ngayon. Tinext sa pulis. Tapos, middle of the night, naglalakad yung tao. Can we say that there was genuine reason? The answer is no. Because it was a mere suspicion. It was a mere tip from an informant or from another person. That's not suspicious circumstance. And even if naglalakad sa gabi yan, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na suspicious yun. Walking alone in the middle of the night is not suspicious circumstance in itself. Why? Kasi that's your right. Di ba? Freedom to travel yan eh. So ano yan, dahil gabi lang, hindi na it will be taken against you even though it's your freedom in the first place. To walk whenever you want, wherever you want. Di ba? Within the Philippines. Siyempre, may exceptions yan. Like, halimbawa, hindi ka pwedeng pumasok na lang bigla sa kulungan, di ba? Okay, you get the point, no? Sige, so, ayos tayo. Ayos tayo. Ganon. Kailangan may suspicious circumstance. Okay? So, now na natakal na natin kung paano magkaroon ng valid stop and frisk search, no? To suspicious circumstances, di ba? Itakal natin yung extent. O yan. Ano po yung extent ulit nung sa search incidental to unlawful arrest? Area of immediate control. O itong stop and frisk. Bodily searches only. And ayan no, bodily searches or limited protective search of the outer clothing for weapons. Tandaan nyo, ano yung dalawa nyo kailangan tandaan? Bodily searches, outer clothing. Unang tanong, attorney, pwede bang i-check yung loob ng medyas? The answer is no. Kasi that's not outer clothing, that's underwear. Brief, same thing. Bra, same thing. Okay? Attorney, paano kapag hahanapan natin yung taong isa-search may backpack? Can the backpack be searched? The answer is no. Kasi that's not bodily search anymore. Di ba? That's not a search of the body anymore. That's already a search of a bag. Di ba? So, hence, the bag carried by the person search is not included. Further, the underwear of the person search The underwear of the person must not be searched. Okay? Search. You get the point. Underwear yung tandaan nyo, hindi lang underwear, hindi lang bra, panty, bra. Bra, panty, brief. No? Hindi lang po. Kasali po yung medyas. Hindi pwede yan i-search. Okay? So, ulitin natin. Stop and frisk. The search happens before the arrest. Kasi hanapan natin, nakakita ng shabu, saan natin arestuhin. Ganon ang galawan dyan. O ngayon, meron tayong ilan? Two instances in this case kung saan in-apply natin yung stop and frisk. Okay, basahin natin yung isa. Basahin nyo na lang yung isa, no? Itatakal ko isa sa inyo. Let's read, just read sa sarili nyo yung other case. In People versus Cogaed, no? The police officers received information that a certain Marvin Buya would be transporting marijuana. So tip yan. Di ba tip? Tandaan nyo, ang tip is not a suspicious circumstance. So tuloy tayo sa kwento. A passenger jeepney passed through the checkpoint set up by the police officer. So pwede mong, di ba sabi ko sa inyo, pwede pumasok to, depende sa tanong, di ba? Pwede kayong tanongin ang perspective, visual search at checkpoints eh. Kasi may checkpoint. Pero stop and frisk tayo, no? The driver then disembarked and signaled that two male passengers were carrying marijuana. Okay. The police approached the two men who were later identified as Victor Cogaed and Santiago Dayaw and inquired about the contents of their bags. Upon further investigation, the police officers discovered 3 bricks of marijuana in Cogaed's bag. In holding that the stop and frisk search was invalid, the court reasoned that there was not a single suspicious circumstance that gave the police officers genuine reason to stop the two men and search their belongings. Kogay did not exhibit any overt act indicating that he was in possession of marijuana. In other words, hindi po na-comply yung two suspicious circumstances. So wala po dapat genuine reason yung police para i-stop and frisk sila. Okay? Even yung pagturo ng driver na merong marijuana si Kugaid at saka si Dayaw, that's not a suspicious circumstance because that was not given by or shown by Kugaid and Dayaw. That's just another person that's similar to a tip. Di ba? May anonymous tip. O di parang ganito lang to sa driver. Kilala mo nga lang yung nag-tip sa'yo. Di ba? It's the same thing. Similar thing. They are similar things. No? So, with that being said, invalid po yung stop and frisk search. No? So, attorney, next question. Sabihin natin itong tanong. Attorney, paano pag tinanong ako ng visual search at checkpoints? Can we see that this was a valid visual search at checkpoints? No. Kasi sa visual search at checkpoints, titingnan mo lang dapat yung jeep at saka yung ano yung tsura ng mga tao sa loob. Di ba? May nakalabas ba na drugs? May nakalabas ba na barel? May nakalabas ba na whatever? Okay, get the point. In this case po, chinek yung bag eh. Contents of their bags. Hindi na po yan visual search. Making the evidence inadmissible. So, ano ba? The result is the evidence is inadmissible because the extent of the search was invalid. It was unconstitutional. O attorney, paano kung ano naman? Extensive search of a moving vehicle. Aba, may probable cause ba yung police? Wala. Wala kang genuine reason eh. Probable cause pa tayo of the commission of a crime. Di ba? See? Di ba? Kaya sinasabi ko sa inyo, di ba? Baka ito hindi niyo pa na parang hindi niyo to na-experience sa iba yung mga naging lectures, iba yung mga naging discussions, recitation ng law school at saka even yung bar review. Pero nakita niyo ibig ko sabihin. One set of facts, pwede kayong tanungin in multiple ways. It depends upon you. Kung kaya nyo talagang himayin o kaya nyo mag-zero in, kaya nyo mag-focus na pag tinakil yung stop and press, dito lang tayo. Huwag tayong magpa-factor in ng ibang mga principles. Paano pag tinanong tayo ng checkpoint? Paano pag tinanong tayo ng extensive search of a moving vehicle? O in this case, pag tinanong, was there a valid search incidental to a lawful arrest? Ano dialogue dyan? In a search incidental to a lawful arrest, the arrest must precede the search. The process cannot be, excuse me, reversed. In this case, no, Kogaed and Daya was first searched before they were arrested. So, inapplicable po yung search incidental to a lawful arrest, something like that. Okay? Get na po. Assuming, sabihin natin, no? O assuming that arrest preceded the search, no? There was an invalid in flagrante delicto arrest in this case because, again, there was no overt act in the presence of the police officers that Cogaed and Dayaw were committing a crime at the time that they were arrested. O, di ba? Patay. Panalo na naman tayo. Di ba? Ganon. Kasi lang naman ang two elements ng inflagrante delicto arrest which we will tackle later on. Ano yung dalawa? There must be an overt act. Or there must be an overt act manifestly indicating the commission of the crime. Basically, yung attempting has committed and so on. The second element is this was committed in the presence of the police officers. In the presence includes all the senses of the police officer. So in this case, wala pong overt act uh, in the presence of the police officers that there was a commission of a crime. Diba? Pinsan sa tatlong magkakapatid, pwede kayong tanungin. Kayo ba? Diba? So hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na dito lang kayo matatanong sa stop and frisk pag ganitong itsura ng tanong sa inyo. Hindi pwede. Diba? Yun ang tatandaan nyo. No? Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, Consti 1, more on reading cases talaga. No? Kaya nga ako, personally, no, kung sabihin natin, pipili ako ng di-discuss ko na topic, I would much rather discuss Consti 2 than Consti 1. Kasi, parang sabihin natin, yung mga topic sa Consti 1, kung hindi ganun katindi, alam nyo, hindi ganun kadami yung analysis, no? It's more about hard work talaga. Memorization, reading cases, understanding the cases, puro ganun lang, no? Like, pag nabasa nyo yung yung kaso sa martial law, no, yung Lagman case, no, pag nabasa niyo yan ng full text, kahit pa paano marami na kayong masasagot sa bar exam pag tinanong kayo ng Article 7 about martial law, 'di ba? So hindi niyo ko kailangan masyado for that. Baka nga mas marami pa kayong alam sa akin kasi fresh kayo eh. 'Di ba? Yung basically yung mga binabasa niyo uh, tawag dito, yung mga binabasa niyo talaga fresh from the syllabus given to you by your law school, whatever law school it may be. 'Di ba? So talagang marami 'yan, 'di ba? So baka nga mas magaling pa kayo sa akin sa Consti 1. So, I like teaching kapag analytical skills talaga kasi this is where I can really help you. And this is the aspect na kailangan nyo rin talaga ng tulong. 'Di ba? Kasi sabi ko nga, I cannot help you be more hardworking. You can only help yourself, 'di ba? I cannot help you read more. Only you will read more. How can I help you? I can help you by paano ba? Making things simpler for you. No? And parang providing proper context to topics. Yan ang mga gusto ko talang ginagawa eh. Giving you proper context, giving you uh, proper way to analyze the possible question, di ba? How to approach this topic, how will this topic, how will the question about this topic likely, how will a question regarding this topic be shown, no? Be asked in the bar exams. Yan ang mga that's where I come in. Kaya nga po ako talaga kumuha lahat ng REM kasi nga yan, pure analytical skills lahat mga kapatid. Konti lang ang kaso sa REM kumpara sa ibang subjects. Kailangan talaga kaya nahirapan tayo lahat kasi hindi natin yun. Attorney ba to ang hirap ng ng remedial law? Kasi po um first part, no. Ito alam niya natututunan ko din to along the way, no, while I'm lecturing, no, while I'm discussing things. Kahit ako natututo din ako. So, ang natutunan ko po kasi, kaya tayo nahirapan sa remedial. Kasi, it requires, two phases from us. Yun po kasing political, sabihin natin Consti 1, it's just hard work. If you read enough, you read well, diba? You know how to understand, you can understand English properly. Yun lang yung phase na kailangan nyo for the most part. Papasa na kayo dyan. Okay? Ang hirap po kasi sa remedial law, two phases. First thing, you need to read well, di ba? You need to read a lot pa rin naman, no? Kasi mahaba ang Cimpro, di ba? And you need to understand English. Talaga. You must easily understand English. That's the first phase. And it does not stop there. Okay? Kaya tayo bumabagsak sa remedial kasi di tayo nakakatalo doon sa second phase. No? Akala natin just by focusing, mastering the first phase, read, masipag, take, ano ba? Burn the hours, no? Burn your hours, burn your time, reading. Akala natin papasa tayo sa remedial. Wrong. That's not what's required from you. You can only do so much sa first phase. Kasi 50% lang yan ng equation. No? Kulang tayo ng analytical. Okay, yun yung second phase. And how do you analyze properly? No. Ayun pala, ano, buti pala na ano ko. So kahit nga ako natututo ako, nagiging mas flexible po ako sa basically pine-prescribe ko sa mga law students, sa mga bar examiners. Ang prescription ko lagi, attorney, ay mga bata, no, future attorneys, kailangan sagot kayo ng sagot lagi. Kailangan lagi po tayong magsagot ng bar questions. Ngayon po ay modify yung yung prescription ko na ito. Tandaan nyo to, may mga subjects, no, real talk tayo, may mga subjects, napapasa tayo talaga. Basa lang. Basahin natin teacher's cases for the bar. Basa tayo ng, well, notes, basa tayo ng reviewers, basa tayo ng books kung maraming time, papasa ka na. Let's be honest, yung mga ganong subjects talaga. Okay? Like, halimbawa, leg forms. Diba? Master lang eh. Di ba, you don't have to analyze naman masyado dyan. Basta masterin mo lang no, ulit-ulit, exercise, master ng forms, you're good. Okay? Anyway, may konting analysis. Actually, that's not the best example pala, no? Consti 1 nga ang best example. Another is lab stand. Di ba? Masterin lang natin yung ano, masterin lang natin yung wages, no? Magkano ba ang minimum wage sa Maynila, Pilipinas tuloy, sa Metro Manila, magkano ba ang OT pay, magkano ba NSD, magkano ba ang holiday pay, magkano, 'di ba? You get the point, no? Ganun lang. Ganun lang ang dialogue diyan, 'di ba? So poly ganun din, no? Pag kapag commercial law, actually for the most part ang commercial law, ano nga eh, commercial law nga po, napansin ko ngayon, no, while I'm answering, no, patapos na 3 taon na lang. While I was answering yung commercial law bar questions, napansin ko po, ang commercial law, vague kasi sa atin yung mga terms. Hindi naman tayo mga ano kasi, brokers. Hindi naman tayo mga, alala naman tayo sa stock exchange, di ba? So, these things are unfamiliar to us. Ano maling natin sa bonds, debentures, investment contracts? What are these things? Di ba? Hindi tayo familiar. General banking law, di mo tayo katrabaho sa bangko eh. Di ba? So, ang problem sa commercial law, it's about familiarity with these transactions in real life. Hindi tayo familiar dyan, especially kung hindi ka naman nagtrabaho ever. Hindi natin alam, ano ba ang galawan sa bangko? Di ba? Ano alam natin dyan, di ba? Di pa, wala pa tayong bank account eh. So ako din naman, ganun din ako dati, no? Di ba, wala naman ako work experience prior to becoming a lawyer. Okay, so you get the point. So, commercial law po, napansin ko, hindi ganun katindi yung analysis kumpara sa, let's say, criminal law. Ang criminal law po, analysis talaga. Kasi konting flip lang nung facts, biglang nagiging kidnapping, biglang nagiging grave coercion, hindi mo na alam kung ano yung crime. 'Di ba? Nung pala trafficking na yun, hindi na pala kidnapping. 'Di ba kasi nagkaroon ng added element na for purposes of slavery. 'Di ba? Yung pagkuha doon sa tao. O di hindi na ano yan, kidnapping. Anti-trafficking in persons na. Pag bata, nag-iba na naman, qualified trafficking na. 'Di ba? It's analysis talaga ang criminal law. Buti nga 10% lang sa bar yan, pero ang hirap talaga niya for me. It's the hardest subject for me in law school. Criminal law. Kasi konting flip lang talagang ganun, konting hindi tayo naging attentive sa details, deads agad. Anyway, ang commercial law, more on memorization nga siya, reading, no? Reading, understanding, basic elements ng insider trading, no? basic requisites ng intra-corporate dispute, mga ganyan, papasa ka na. So yan, Consti 1, Lab Stan, Commercial Law, no? More on pag masipag ka lang magbasa, papasa ka. And of course, you understand your ano, kaya nga sabi ko, you need to understand English easily eh. Kailangan maintindihan mo yung binabasa mo. Pasado ka na. Pero sabihin natin, income tax, excuse me, VAT, ano pa, remedial law, constitu, criminal law, labor relations, eto analytical na. May phase 1 at saka phase 2. So wag pala nagtanong tayo, tinanong niyo ako, attorney, sabi mo sa akin, magsagot ako lagi ng bar questions. Isi-circle back ko na yung point ko. So nag-discuss ako, I will circle back to my point. I will drive home my point na. Yung punchline ko na. Sa akin lang, no, may mga subjects na kailangan ng two phases. How do you improve your analytical skills? You need to answer a lot of bar questions. A lot of questions, whether bar questions or not. Pwedeng tanong ko, tanong ng iba, tanong ng bar question, no? Hinango sa kaso, kailangan matanong kayo. Kailangan matanong kayo. Kasi yun yung phase 2. That's how you sharpen your analytical skills. Okay? Yan. Kaya po, attorney, bakit civil law din pala analytical, no? Attorney, ba't ang hirap po ng remedial law? Kasi, ang remedial law, parang 40-60. 40% day phase 1, 60% yung phase 2. No? Kaya ka nahihirapan, not because you're, ano ba, you're inadequate. Hindi kayo enough, you're insufficient. No, nahihirapan kayo kasi, di ba, hindi natin tinitingnan yung tasks, yung obligasyon natin as a law student, as bar examinees from a bird's eye view. Sundalo lang tayo, hindi nyo tinitingnan yung sarili nyo as a strategist. No, pag sundalo ka lang, no, tira lang ng tira lagi, proceed lang ng proceed lagi, minsan, hindi natin nagagamit ng sulit yung oras natin. Kaya tayo bumabagsak. So, kaya ako sinasabi ito. Ayan. Ngayon, ibabalik ko pa ulit. No? Ibabalik ko na, ibinalik ko na yung point ko. Ibabalik ko ngayon tayo sa reviewer ko. Which leads me to this. Itong people verse ko, guide na to, di ba? Same facts, you can be asked in four ways. Four different instances of warrantless searches. Di ba? So, phase 1, you need to read cases. Kasi nga, case 2, kinuhanan ko ng facts na to, di ba? So, that's reading. Understanding, di ba? That's phase 1. And then phase 2, how can you become good? In phase 2, you need to apply the elements accordingly. Kasi nga nakikriss-cross siya, nagmi-mix and match yan. Minsan maguguluhan ka na, especially pag pinasok natin yung mga valid warrantless arrests under criminal procedure, di ba? Rule 113, Section 5. Di ba? So you get the point, no? Tama ba ako? Anyway, titingnan natin kung Section 5 yan later on. Yun lang naman ang point ko, no, guys. Some subjects, some topics require two phases for you to pass. Some just require one. Okay, yun pala. So, attorney, do I need to answer every time, every day? Hindi naman po. Kailangan lang natin paglaanan ng oras yung mga topics na kailangan talaga ng two phases. So, yan. Pag tinanong niyo ako, attorney, do I need to answer all the time? Tatanungin ko kayo, anong subject na ba yung gusto niyo sagutan? Attorney, gusto ko commercial law. Ang suggestion ko sa inyo, basa lang ng basa, kapatid. Basa lang ng basa. Okay? Attorney, kung remedial law po, ay talagang magsasagot tayo everyday. Okay? Criminal law, magsasagot tayo everyday. Okay? Islaw yan, indeterminate sentence law. Ano yan? Madadali mo ng basa ka ng basa? Of course not. Di ba? How will you know how to, ano, di ba? How to graduate penalties? Di ba? Ano yan? Babasahin mo lang yung case ni People versus XXX. Alam mo na paano mag-graduate ng penalties? Of course not. Di ba? Paano pag minimum period? Ano pagkakaiba nun sa lower than 1 degree? Di ba? Mga ganung bagay. It requires analysis. It requires two phases. Yeah. And that's why, hindi lahat ng masipag, 10 hours nag-aaral, nagiging lawyer. Sabi niya, ginawa niyo naman lahat. Yes. Ginawa naman natin lahat. However, kinulang tayo ayan tayo, sa diploma o diskarte, kinulang tayo sa diskarte. That's where diskarte comes in para maging lawyer kayo. Okay? Kasi, paano ba? Yun. Anyway, kaya nga kayo, ano, no? So, baka tulungan ko kayo. Nabibigay ko sa inyo yung point of view ko, hindi niyo na kailangan gawin for yourselves. Yan kasi, no, sometimes, working hard, actually, all the time, even in ngayon, napansin ko sa professional life, working hard is not enough. Okay? If you want to be successful, working hard is not enough. 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours na trabaho, not enough. You need to strategize properly. No, dapat inilalaan natin energy natin, oras natin sa mga bagay na talagang increase ng chances natin talaga, no? Yung talagang pag ito ginawa ko, yung 1 oras nito, katumbas ng 10 oras sa kabila. Yun ang point ko. Attorney, paano kung 4 na oras kong ginawa to? Di ba? At the end of the day, kailangan natin makapasa kahit 10% lang, whatever, 10%, 20% yung bar exam passing rate. Kailangan pumasa ka. Oh, that's how you increase your chances of winning. Diba? Ganun lang kasimple yan. Actually, diba? Ganun lang kasimple. You need to strategize properly before you even read. No? Hindi ko lang sinabi na gumawa kayo ng calendar o ngayong linggo na to, aralin ko yung Simpro. No. That's just the minimum. Diba? Minimum yan. No? Hindi yan yung diskarte na sinasabi ko. Diskarte is how, if student A and student B, both of you have 8 hours. Both students have 8 hours in a day. How can student A, sabihin natin, become more productive than the other one? Sabihin natin, pareho sila, di sila distracted ng cellphone, ng laptop, ng laro, ng Korean novela, wala. Walang distraction. How can A become better than B? Yun ang sinasabi ko sa inyo. How can you do that? If you can do that, pasado kayo, lawyer kayo, maniwala kayo sa akin. Okay, yun lang. Anyway, ngayon, di ba, at least, if you got to this point na nakikinig kayo sa akin na, kung tapos nyo na ibang mga lectures earlier, good for you. No? Kasi ito, nabibigay ko sa inyo yung, paano ba, tactics talaga. No? Paano maging lawyer. No? Paano pumasa. No? Paano pumasa. Sabi ko sa inyo yan. No? Iba kasi kaya ng sipag lang kasi magaling na sila. Meron ng gift sila ng analytical skills. Meron ng gift kasi utak nila magaling agad mag-analyze. They can make things simple agad. No, kaya kung mapapansin nyo, maraming matatalino. Tapos pag in-explain sa inyo, hala, ba't alam nyo, yung napakasimple naman para sa isip niya ng bagay. Kasi nga gifted na siya with that motor. Yung motor na yun nasa isip niya downloaded na. Lahat tayo hindi ganun like me. Some of us, we have to learn it. No, it can be learned naman yun ang ganda sa skill na yun. No, it's not a gift. Can be learned kahit pa paano, no? So, some of us we need to learn it, no? So that's why you need to take time to to improve your analytical skills, no? Kung hindi ka man gifted learner, gifted examinee. Kasi kung gifted ka, 'di ba? You don't need me. 'Di ba? You don't even need any review center. Pasado ka na just by you. Just by being you, 'di ba? And being hardworking. Pero sa lahat na, yun, alam niyo na, parang ako, regular one, 'di ba? Regular Filipino. No, kailangan natin ng binibigyan ng tips na ganyan. Okay, visual search at checkpoints. Tandaan natin, pwede pong valid warrantless search siya. So, hindi kailangan ng probable cause, hindi kailangan ng genuine reason, whatever. Hindi kailangan, no. Basta may checkpoint, pwedeng mag-search. Pero dahil po, pwedeng mag-search, mas maiksi po, mas maliit yung extent ng search. It must be visual search lang. So, ano po ibig sabihin ng visual search? No? Merong instances na binigay yung Supreme Court. Ayan. A search where an officer merely draws aside the curtain of a vacant vehicle. Kasi nung araw, no, yung mga may edad dyan, alam na alam nyo, di ba, taxi sa Maynila, marami pong may kortina. Ngayon, bawal na yan, di ba? So, kung bawa, may kortina yung, yung taxi o yung kotse, pwedeng pakawiin natin. Okay? Merely draws aside the curtain of a vacant vehicle which is parked, no, on a public fairgrounds, or simply looks into a vehicle or flashes a light therein is not unreasonable. Yan lang po yung visual search. Attorney, ang context nitong nilinyahan mo na yan sa sa reviewer mo, tawag dito, kotse. Diba? Eh, attorney, paano pag motor? Ano ang ano natin? Paano nagkakaroon ng visual search? Eh, di titingnan lang yung motor. Di ba? O, hanapin mo yung lisensya nung driver, pwede. No problem yun, syempre, di ba? Traffic regulations naman yan, so valid naman yun. Hindi naman search yun, di ba? You're just regulating traffic, di ba? You're just implementing traffic regulations, traffic laws. Okay? Pero hindi pwedeng buksan yung, alam mo yung compartment ba nung motor, yung tinataas na upuan. Hindi pwedeng tingnan yung lalagyan ng pagkain ni Food Panda, nung ride-hailing apps, nung Food Panda rider, nung Grab rider, hindi pwedeng tingnan yung bag sa likod. Hindi pwedeng sabihin ng pulis, buksan mo yan, tingnan ko kung ano laman nung lalagyanan mo sa likod. Di ba yung, alam niyo, hindi ko alam yung bag. Basically, you get what I'm trying to say. Hindi pwedeng tingnan yun. Kasi hindi na po siya visual search. That's already extensive search. Ayan, napasok na tayo. Napasok na tayo. Nabanggit ko na extensive. Extensive na yun kasi tumingin ka na sa loob. Binuksan mo na yung zipper niya, di ba? Nakasiper, tinignan mo na yung loob. No? So, hindi siya pwede. Pwede lang. Tingnan mo lang yung pinakamotor, basically. So, kung wala ka nakitang mali sa motor na yun, go ahead. Okay? Pag tinignan yung loob na yun, automatic, may mali sa nangyari na yan. Okay? At the same time, di ba nakalagay nga po, no, visual search lang yung pwedeng gawin dun sa motor. Sabihin natin, una tayo sa kotse, no, kasi mas applicable po sa single na motor to dahil yun yung maraming uplands ito sa Maynila eh. O, attorney, di ba, tiningnan lang yung motor, pwede bang kapkapan yung bulsa ng rider? Hindi din. Kasi hindi na siya visual search. O, pwede mo tingnan yung pinaka-rider mismo, ano ba itsura niya? Pwede. Okay? Pero hindi ka pwede mag-kapkap. Kasi extensive search na ulit yun. Di ba? You get the point. Okay, let's go to extensive search of moving vehicles. Anyway, so ang context nga nito, paano pong mag apply in the same set of facts yung visual search at checkpoints at saka extensive search of a moving vehicle. Pag pinahinto sa checkpoint yung ah, motor, no? Sa motor tayo, no? Wag sa kotse, sa motor. Pinahinto siya sa checkpoint. Ngayon, tandaan nyo, may pagkakataon kung saan pwedeng mag-upgrade yung visual search to extensive search. Paano po siyang mag-upgrade? Ito ang sagot. If there is probable cause to believe that the vehicle's passenger, so included na dyan yung driver, pasahero din siya, no? To believe that the vehicle's passengers committed a crime or where there's probable cause that the vehicle contains instruments of an offense. Same set of facts. Sabihin natin, um, rider ulit ng motor. No? Tapos, huminto sa checkpoint. Ngayon, nung paghinto sa checkpoint, nakita nung pulis yung bewang nung rider. Hugis baril. Bulge. May bulge sa bewang niya. Hugis baril talaga. Talagang mukhang 45, mukhang caliber 45 pistol yung nandun sa ano niya. Nandun sa kanyang bewang. That's, ano, no? Is that probable cause? Oh, ngayon, yan ang tanong natin. Attorney, paano nating malaman kung may probable cause o wala dito sa facts, no? How can we know that there is probable cause to believe that the passengers committed a crime or the vehicle contains instruments of the offense, of an offense? How can we know that? Para malaman natin kung mag-upgrade na po ba yung visual search to extensive search. Ano ang kailangan nating gawin? Ito na po. Meron din tayong batayan for this one. Saan siya napunta? Wait, wala. Okay, so paano pong magkakaroon ng extensive search of a moving vehicle? Paano magkakaroon ng probable cause? Ito, no? The court emphasized that there should be the presence of more than one seemingly innocent activity. from which, taken together, warranted a reasonable inference of criminal activity. In other words, di ba, there must be at least two suspicious circumstances uli. Di ba? Okay, basically yun din. No? So, attorney, tama ba? No? Parang pareho yung kailangan natin para magkaroon ng genuine reason sa stop and frisk at saka sa extensive search of moving vehicles. Two suspicious circumstances na hinahanap sa atin? Yes po. Okay, pero tandaan nyo iba, yung degree. Doon sa isa, genuine reason lang in light of his experience and the surrounding, surroundings, environment, may genuine reason. Dito po sa extensive search of moving vehicle, kailangan yung dalawang suspicious circumstances makapag-produce tayo ng probable cause of commission of a crime na hindi na pwedeng genuine reason lang in light of his experience. Kailangan mukha na talagang, however, no, tandaan nyo, note, the suspicious must show no, that there is probable cause that the the passengers no were committing a crime. Ayan. Or the vehicles, daming vehicle, that contains instruments of an offense. So, ganun po, no? Mas matindi siya. Kasi mas matindi po yung kailangan nating mapatunayan dito. Probable cause na may commission na talaga ng crime. Doon sa isa kasi is genuine reason lang. Okay? Okay. So, ayan, no? Anyway, wag na natin ilagay yung suspicious circumstance. Ay, ito naman pala, nakalagay din sa kaso, no? It must be founded It must be founded on probable cause where there must be a confluence of several suspicious circumstances. So, nakalagay naman pala sa pinaka-facts. Ay, sa pinaka-case. So, tama naman pala kung ito suspicious circumstances. Yun na lang. It must be founded on probable cause where there must be a confluence. So, basically, dalawa nga. Of several suspicious circumstances. So, same thing, no? So, attorney, balik tayo sa example mo. Yung driver, yung rider, may bulge ng parang baril sa bewang. That's one suspicious circumstance. Siyempre, kung police ka, ano next mong tatanungin? Baril ba yan, Brad? Siyempre, tatanungin mo. Kasi kung di mo tinanong, edi hindi mo rin nakita. Di ba? O kung di mo tinanong, ba't ka naman mag-search in the first place? Di ba? So, di ba? O, di may first suspicious circumstance. Tinanong mo. Ano yan? Siyempre, sasagot yung rider. Pwedeng magkaroon ng another suspicious circumstance sa sagot niya. How? Kinakabahan, tumulo ang pawis, ganyan. You get the point, no? So, hindi nagsalita. Deadma siya. That's another suspicious circumstance. O ngayon, paano pag sinabi nung hindi po baril to. Sabi nung sumagot, no? Sumagot yung rider, hindi po baril to. Tinanong ng pulis, ano yan? Tapos, hindi maganda yung sinabi, like, it doesn't make sense. Ano po ito, laruan. Something like that ang sinabi. We can see that that's a suspicious circumstance. Ba't ka mo susuksok ng laruan sa bewang mo? You get? Ganun po na develop yung in this context po, no, in this circumstance, paano nabuo yung suspicious circumstances, yung confluence of suspicious circumstances, how was this formed? Doon sa naging balikan nila, verbal exchange, nung police at saka nung rider. Ang una niyang nakita, doon tayo magbabase. Tapos tuloy-tuloy as the conversation went on, nagkaroon ng mas maraming suspicious circumstances. And later on, pwede naman magkaroon ng extensive search. Pwede na. Kung talagang nagkaroon ng two suspicious circumstance, magkakaroon na ng probable cause. So, hindi na po tayo limited to visual search. Magiging na po siyang extensive search of this motor vehicle and the body of the passenger. So, included po, so, yung rider yun, no? So, attorney, ano po bang extent sa extensive searches of moving vehicles? Okay? Ayan. The search may be extended Anyway, hindi ko na ilagay dito, no? Basta ang search dyan, it can be extended to the whole vehicle and the person, no? And the person of the whole vehicle, the contents of the whole vehicle, and the persons of the passengers. Okay, so I need to include it also here kung gaano kalaki yung scope, no? Gaano kalaki yung scope ng search. I will add it here. Okay, so ito po yan, no? So extensive search of a moving vehicle. The vehicle can be searched, the contents of the vehicle can be searched, and the passengers can be searched. So attorney, pwede bang i-check ang underwear ng passengers? Yes. Why? May probable cause na nga tayo ng commission ng crime eh. Di ba, meron kayong krimen na ginawa dyan, baka itinago nyo sa underwear nyo yung, alam nyo na, instruments ng offense, we need to search this. Baka nilagay nyo sa compartment, we need to search this. Baka nilagay nyo sa bag na nando sa kotse. Di ba? Kasi syempre, kotse may bag dyan, may mga bag dyan, di ba? May attache case. Isa-search natin yun. You get the point. No? Talagang, lahat ng pwedeng i-search dyan, isa-search. Okay, di ko pa na nabanggit. The search incidental to lawful arrest, di ba? Area of immediate control. Eh di mismo ang tao pwedeng i-search. Di ba? Pati yung underwear niya, pwedeng i-search. Okay, kasi nga, immediate control niya yun. No? So baka di ko nabanggit, binanggit ko na ngayon. Okay, so, let's recap, no? So, ang stop and frisk, ano ang kailangan? Genuine reason? How can there be genuine reason? Two suspicious circumstances. Extent of the search. Limited bodily search, limited outer clothing, okay, of the person to be searched. Okay. Yan yung sa stop and frisk. Attorney, paano naman ang visual search at checkpoints? O de, if there is a checkpoint, there can be a search. Okay. So what's the extent? Bakit pwede pong mag-search, no? Because of public welfare. Okay? Public welfare must prevail over the individual's right against a warrantless search. Okay? Public welfare must prevail. Okay. Promotion of the public welfare. That's the uh, reason mo. Tapos extent is visual lang. So, ano pwedeng gawin? Pwedeng draw aside the curtain and look inside, di ba? Flash the light, flashes a light therein, yun ang mga pwede. Okay. How about extensive search of a moving vehicle, attorney? Probable cause. How can there be probable cause? Again, confluence of several suspicious circumstances ulit. So, two suspicious circumstances ulit. Extent. Diba? The whole vehicle can be searched. The contents of the vehicle can be searched. The persons of the passengers can be searched. Lastly, search incidental to a lawful arrest. Ano kailangan? There must be a lawful arrest. Diba? Yun ang kailangan. If the person is lawfully arrested, he can be searched of dangerous weapons or anything which may be used, diba, or constitute proof for the commission of an offense without a search warrant as provided under Rule 126, Section 13. What's the extent of the search? Place of immediate control. O, diba? Area of immediate control, no? So, yun ang mga pagkakaiba nila. Okay. Patapos na tayo, guys. So, tandaan nyo to in all instances po, no? Whether stop and frisk, in both instances, whether stop and frisk, at saka extensive search of a moving vehicle, a tip is not enough. Suspicion is not enough. Confidential or tip information, not enough. Okay? Ilalay ko to dito, no? Note. For stop and frisk, ito ang ilagay. And extensive search. Kasi wala namang tip sa visual search at checkpoint, di ba? Visual search at checkpoint. Wala namang tip na kailangan dyan. Basta may checkpoint, pwede mag-search. Visual nga lang. Extensive search of a moving vehicle. Ayan. A tip is not enough. A confidential information is not enough. Is insufficient. Further, mere suspicion is not enough. So you get the point. A tip, a confidential information, a mere suspension and a mere suspicion are not enough. Okay, we're good there. Okay, so to ano, no, to recap everything, how do we differentiate extensive search of a moving vehicle at saka visual search at checkpoints? So, for visual search at checkpoints, no probable cause is needed to conduct the search. The search is allowed, no, to promote mali ako, public order, public welfare. So, sa kabila naman, there must be probable cause that the passengers committed an offense or the vehicle contains instruments of an offense. So, sa extent naman tayo, visual nga lang sa isa is extensive, as the name implies. Okay, next tayo. How do we differentiate extensive search of a moving vehicle and stop and frisk? Actually, dapat balik na rin ko to. Wait lang. Mas maganda siya pag andito. Mas maayos. Wait lang. Insert column to the left. Yan. Delete. Ay, wait. There we go. Ayan. Stop and frisk. Ano ang kailangan? Genuine reason. Sa kabila, probable cause. Okay? So, mas matindi yung sa extensive search of a moving vehicle, which makes sense. Why? Sa stop and frisk kasi, limited lang tayo sa bodily search. On the other hand, sa extensive search, talagang lahat ng ando sa sasakyan na yun pwede. So, mas wide, mas broader yung magiging search na gagawin. With that being said, talagang mas matindi dapat yung ano ba dyan, yung degree of parang certainty ng police officer sa isa genuine reason lang, isa probable cause. Okay, next. The commission of the offense need not be obvious to the ordinary man, but a seasoned police officer. So ano yung probable cause? What does it mean? Probable cause is defined as facts and circumstances that a reasonable prudent man. Ito, bonus na lang to guys, no? Bonus. Ilalas ko to. No? Kung hindi nyo masabi to, I will not take it against you. Sabihin natin, 3-point question no? Sa bar exam. Normally, 3 points ang ano eh. 2 to 3 points ang comparison, distinguish, compare, 3 points. Kung hindi nyo man masabi, ay, mali. May search pa ako. Ayan. Kung hindi nyo man masabi itong last na to, okay lang for me. No? Kasi masyado na siyang specific. Ang kailangan nyo talagang masabi, unang-una, the extent of the search at saka yung degree basically, no? Yung genuine reason versus probable cause. So isa naman, stop and frisk, di ba? Bodily searches, limited protective search of the outer clothing. Sa kabila naman, the search may be extended within immediate control. It may be extended, yan, ito nga lang, para mas precise. The vehicle can be searched, the contents of the vehicle can be searched, and the passengers, the vehicle, walang ganyan. The contents, the vehicle, and the passengers. Ayan. Okay, mas maganda yun. There you go. We're good, no? So, ito last yun na lang. No? So, ano pa pwede natin ipag-iba sa kanilang dalawa? Stop and frisk at saka extensive search of a moving vehicle. Well, uh, ayun, pwede nyo sabihin na in stop and frisk, it is not limited to passengers and drivers of a vehicle, no? Persons who are walking, no, can be subjected to stop and frisk search. Meanwhile, for extensive search of a moving vehicle, limited this is limited to searches in moving vehicles. So you get by another nating pwedeng sabihin, no? Dagdag natin yun, no? So para lang ano pandagdag sa 3 points para sure nyung makuha. The search is not limited to moving vehicles. Persons, bystanders can be subjected, di ba? Bystanders na lang para ano, mas magandang word for tambay. Bystanders can be subjected to stop and frisk search. Sa isa naman, di malamang, the search is limited to moving vehicles. Okay, customs, pakibasa na lang mga kapatid. Pakibasa na itong mga to, no? At obvious naman yan, tandaan nyo sa airport, basta na sa airport ka kapatid, pwede kang uh, uh, i-subject to search. Note, di ko na idagdag dito sa ano, wait lang, try ko i-add. Sige, baka ano lang, added info. Note, no? As long as the person is in an airport, no, he and his luggage can be searched. Okay? Ayos tayo dyan. Kung in an airport, in a Philippine airport, hindi natin alam kung ano regulation sa ibang airport sa ibang bansa. Ano. Okay, i-add ko na yun. Hindi ko talaga mapalagpas eh. I need to add yung discussion about dun sa limited, yung right to privacy natin limited sa bus. I need to add it. Wait lang. Baka kasi kayo, yung iba dyan, hindi nyo mabasa yung political law, bar Q&A. No, na ginawa natin recently lang, katatapos lang po. Kung di mo natin mabasa, eto na, no, ilalagay ko na. Para lang, ma-make sure ko na ma-include nyo sa akalin nyo. Kasi nga, very important yun. Dahil, bus yan eh. Maraming sumasakay dyan, di ba? No? Dati nung umuwi ako sa probinsya, nagbubus po ako. Okay? I need to add it. Wait lang po. Bear with me. Hindi abuse ang hinahanap ko. Bus. Baggage. And there's another one pala ako idadagdag, no? Yung ano, if the person was, ano ba? If the penalty for the offense is only a fine, hindi siya pwedeng arestuhin. That cannot be considered as a, and later on pala yun, sa inflagrante delicto. Okay, wait lang. Ito, a public transport bus. A public transport bus was stopped by the police at a checkpoint. O, ito na yun. Ayan. Kinadagdag ko to. And your boy needs to add this, bro. I have to add this. Sige. Ina-add ko na lang siya sa ano, dito. JKN, nako, i-ano natin to, i-adjust natin tong lettering na to. L na to, M, N, o to isa. O. Ayan. Anyway, ito po, ano, hindi to, ano, isinend na namin yung reviewer. I think, o hindi pa namin sinesend yung reviewer for Consi 2. Anyway, kung sinend man namin na to, no, at hindi nyo nakita tong reflected na addition na to, yun naman pong doctrine na ilalagay ko dito. Nasa bar Q&A naman siya. No? So wala akong inad na bago talaga outside of uh, whatever. Eh, may inad pala ako iba kanina. No? I-upload ko na lang to edited na to once you watch this video. Okay, like yan. Yung sa Lopena na yan, no? Inad ko siya. Okay, sige. Yan ko yung bus searches. Okay. Tapos, one. Ayan. Haba-haba. Okay. What's the name of the case? I need to include the name of the case. May isa pa, no? I'm not sure kung natanong siya ng, I think 2022 bar. Isinerch po siya, tapos yung penalty for the offense, kung bakit siya sinerch, kasi nga search incidental to unlawful arrest daw eh. The offense for that crime is only a fine. Walang search incidental to unlawful arrest because this person should not have been arrested in the first place. Kasi fine lang po yung penalty, something like that. I need to, ano this. Ito, the case is 2020 case Soliano versus People. Excuse me. Okay, so ano nakalagay dyan? In the conduct of bus searches, the court laid down the following guidelines. Prior to entry, passengers and their bags. Mali nga itong luggages ang nakalagay sa case, no? Luggage. Bags and luggage, dapat, no? Anyway, kinapipis ko na lang to as is sa doctrines na nilagay ng Supreme Court. Wala na akong inedit. Passengers and their bags and luggages can be subjected to a routine inspection akin to airport and seaport security protocol. So parang ship talaga at saka airplane, di ba? In this regard, metal detectors and x-ray machines can be installed at bus terminals. We can also frisk the passengers. Okay? Skip tayo. Should the passenger object, he can validly be refused entry into the terminal. Kasi nga parang airport. Okay. While in transit, a bus can still be searched by government agents or the security personnel of the bus owner in the following three instances. O, di ba? Kaganda ng discussion natin, mga kapatid. First, upon receipt of information that a passenger carries contraband or illegal articles, the bus where the passenger is aboard can be stopped to allow for an inspection of the person and his or her effects. Di ba guys, information lang. Basically, confidential information pwede nating gamitin para ma-search itong tao na to. In other words, limited yung right to privacy ng mga sumasakay sa bus. Same thing po sa mga sumasakay sa airplane. 'Di ba? Pag nag-bomb joke nga diyan crime agad 'di ba? So, 'di ba? Second, whenever a bus picks passengers, the prospective passenger can be frisked and his or her bag or luggage be subjected to the same routine inspection, blah, blah, blah. Okay? This because, unlike an airplane, a bus is able to stop and pick passengers along the way. Malamang. Ano yan? Sa airplane, pwedeng huminto sa gitna, tapos may pick up ng passenger. Same thing sa, sa barko. Sa gitna nung dagat, kung may pick up ng passenger, di ba? Of course not. Okay. Third, a bus can be flagged down at designated military or police checkpoints where state agents can board the vehicle for a routine inspection of the passengers and their bags or luggage. Ito yung gusto kong i-drive home sa inyong lahat. Ito yan, no? In short, guys, actually, hindi na nga natin kailangan ng mahabang ng anyway, magandang may mahabang discussion, no? Basta may checkpoint, matik, pwedeng pumasok yung pulis sa loob, tapos tingnan, hindi lang yung mismong tao, pero yung mga bag nila, pwede din. Kung pwedeng tingnan yung bag nila, luggage nila, pati nilagay nila doon sa ilalim ng bus, alam niyo yun, di ba yung parang compartment ng bus, pwede rin i-check. Di ba? Nakita niyo? No? So, ito po, kailangan siyang gawa ng sarili talagang number. Kasi basically na iba na modify talaga, 'di ba? Visual search at checkpoint lang, 'di ba? Dapat flashlight lang. Pero in this case, aba, pati bag mo, 'di ba? Pwedeng i-search. So kakaiba siya. So inilagay po natin 'to dito baka matanong sa inyo. Last tayo, plain view doctrine for warrantless searches, no? So apat ang kailangan natin requisites dito. Ang pinaka-important yung unang tatlo. First is, there must be a prior justification for an initial intrusion. Ano po ang ibig sabihin nito? That means, pag pumasok tayo sa bahay, when we intrude a building, a house, we must be justified in intruding the same. Prior justification for an initial intrusion. Meron dapat tayong rason, proper reason, bakit tayo pumasok sa bahay na yun. Okay. Hindi pwedeng pumasok ka sa bahay just because gusto mong pumasok sa bahay. That's violation of right to privacy ng mga homeowners. Actually, violation of domicile yan, di ba? Under the revised penal code. Okay, that's the first requisite. Kailangan may justifying circumstance. May justification ka. Bakit ka pumasok? Next is, you must discover the incriminating evidence inadvertently. In Tagalog, hindi mo sinasadyang na diskubre yung ebidensya. Pinaka-important na word is inadvertently. Ano yung important word dyan sa una? Actually, hindi lang prior justification eh. Gusto ko yung may salitang initial kasi. Prior justification for initial intrusion. Inadvertently discovered. Okay. Next requisite. It must be immediately apparent that this item is an evidence of a crime, a contraband, or subject to seizure. I-apply ko po to isa-isa para malinawan tayo. Wag na illustration ko dito. Doon na lang tayo sa... Sige, bigyan natin example na lang. Sige, para mai-ano na rin forever yan. Idagdag na rin. Una, tapos last is the plain view justify the seizure of evidence without further search. Search warrant is for more than one offense. While implementing the warrant, the police officer saw in plain view as shabu in the place search. Is the shabu admissible in evidence? No. Kasi there was no prior justification for initial intrusion. Why? May search warrant ka nga, but that search warrant is for more than one offense, making it void. Why? Kasi scattershot warrant. Di ba? The element of particularity of warrants, hindi po na-comply. So, there was no prior justification for an initial intrusion, making the plain view doctrine inapplicable. Next example. B. Okay? A search warrant was issued na lang. Oh, yeah. A search warrant was issued for one offense. Okay? While implementing the warrant, the police officer saw a shabu inside a sachet, a shabu, a sachet of shabu. A sachet of shabu inside the cabinet of the house. Is the shabu admissible in evidence? No, because this was because the shabu, the sachet of shabu was not discovered inadvertently. Hindi po siya hindi sinasadya kaya mo nakita. Naghahalugog ka eh. Di ba? It was discovered intentionally. Kaya ka po nagkalkal sa cabinet, may gusto kang makita dyan. Pwedeng hindi po yung shabu, pero baka chinecheck mo dyan baril. Di ba? O, illegal possession yung search warrant. Nakakita ka ng shabu. Hindi po siya plain view. Doctrine pasok. Kasi second element is missing. Next. C. Example. Ayan. The police officer saw a motor vehicle in plain view. Police officer saw in plain view the sachet of shabu was seized. Is this sachet of shabu admissible? Okay, good. A search warrant was issued for one offense. While implementing the warrant, the police officer saw in plain view a motor vehicle. Ayan. The police officer seized the same. Later, it was discovered that the motor vehicle was smuggled. O, di ba? Hindi ano siya? Kontrabando ang tawag dyan, di ba? Smuggled vehicle eh. Tanong, is the motor vehicle admissible in evidence? Yes or no? The answer is still no. Because ano ba? Ito, yung third element. Because it was not immediately apparent that the motor vehicle was an evidence of a crime, a contraband, or otherwise subject to seizure. Okay? Yes, na-discover po later on, di ba, upon checking sa NBI, upon checking sa LTO, na smuggled yung vehicle na to. Pero nung sinearch na, nung sinis natin ito sa in plain view, nung police, we cannot say that this vehicle was already a contraband, already subject to seizure, already an evidence of a crime na smuggle dyan. For all we know, binili ng tama yan. Di ba? So the third requisite is absent, making the plain view doctrine inapplicable. Nakita nyo? Ganyan ang gusto ko. Kaya talaga guys, pag elements, masarap. Ganito dapat ang ginagawa nyo. Kailangan each element, yung mga important elements do kasi apat, okay na to eh. Plain view justify the seizure of evidence without further search. Further search. Hindi na masyadong natatakel. Yung first three talaga yung natatakel. Okay? Important sila, di ba? Dapat i-apply natin accordingly. How can we illustrate in real life the requisite? First requisite, second requisite, third requisite, and so on. Ganun po ang style dapat dyan. Huwag tayong ini-memorize nyo lang. That's not enough, kapatid. Kasi nga, that is just for, ano ba, yung low, yung mga hindi kailangan ng masyadong analysis na subjects, na topics. Okay? Hindi ganun kagrabe yung analysis like income tax. Hindi ganun. Kapag income tax yan, kapag in this case plain view doctrine, kailangan natin ng second phase, ng phase 2. Okay? You get the point. You get the point. Okay, let's go to valid warrantless arrests. No? So, alam niyo na, big 2 dyan. Ang big 2, ang duo dyan, in flagrante at saka, ang flagrante delicto at saka hot pursuit.